Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Today, I have a really cool knife from Kizer called the Camp 180. It is a camp knife, for lack of a better term. I look at it kind of in the spirit of older military traditional knives, trench knives, which you might see. It comes with this adjustable textile lock that has these removable pins. I removed those pins so it would fit comfortably on my belt that's a little wider. You can adjust those pins in if you've got a thinner belt. Pretty neat system. I usually take these off in favor of an ulti-clip for a pocket dropper, but with this being such a large knife, I kept that on. It does have this little extra grommet and little hardware piece going through there to allow you to adjust this Kydex should you need to make it tighter or looser retention. I think it retains very well. Adjustable clip. You can make it ride horizontally. You can make it ride vertically. Or you can swap it out for a different type of mounting system. But let's look at the knife. It is, to me, a beautiful knife. Comes in a couple of different color configurations. One of them is black. This one is just a stonewashed, gray stonewashed finish on an AEB-L full-tang blade and handled knife. G10 handle. Very good balance. If you look at this knife, as long as that blade is, when I put my finger right behind that blade guard, it balances just perfectly. So it feels great in hand. It is a good, tough, kind of get it done, master of anything around the campsite type of knife, from prepping food to feather sticking, getting a fire started, to some light batoning, to some brush clearing, to some chopping, some slicing, some just general cutting. It's kind of a get it done kind of knife. Has this nice full blade guard, I would call it, where this G10 handle just kind of terminates right into it. Feels very nice. You've got a very nice edge from the factory. This is a factory edge, so the bevels look very even. You've got a nice sharpening choil here. Your plunge grind comes down to about right here. So you've got many good sharpenings there. A really nice swedge that comes down to this flat. This probably not flat enough to strike a ferro rod, I would not think. And then it goes to another swedge. Let's just verify that. Well, it throws a little spark. Not an ideal ferro rod striker, but it did throw a couple little sparks. So I guess if we worked on it and wore some of that that stone washing down a little bit, it might be a ferro rod striker. I don't look at it for that. Might be sharp enough there too. But I do look at it for a just very amicable camp knife, survival knife, zombie apocalypse knife. It's got a really nice reverse grip. It's got this kind of gemmed out pommel on the end, which is G10 full tang, but you could hammer on that if you needed to, or you could definitely use it as a skull crusher. To me, it does remind me of the World War II trench knives that I used to see. I think my dad still has one. They were fashioned with a longer blade guard here that also would convert into a bayonet. It reminds me of that thin, kind of aggressive type of knife, more so than a camp knife. But they call it the Camp 180. It's a Jonathan Stiles design. I love his designs, if I'm not mistaken. He designed the PAR, the little knife from Concept and Tenable that I really like. But this Kizer Camp 180 is an absolute beast. I've been chopping with it. I have been cutting with it. I have been stropping it a couple of times just to make sure that I didn't get it to where it, wasn't cutting that well and I didn't need to sharpen it. So it's still stropped back. This AEB-L strops back very well. Still very slicey on lighter materials like paper. Trying to see if it's got a little snag. Not much of one if I drag it with a Thor tie. Very slicey, very pokey. This will be a good test. This is some really crappy cardboard. It's double walled. I think this would stab through a car door with no problem. It's just that beefy of a blade, that beefy of a grind. Just super devastatingly pokey. Would be great at boring, holes if you're having to drill out some posts on a campsite, or you're having to do some serious woodworking, using it more like a drill or a prying tool, or cut some deep notches. I mean, it is a woodworker's dream. It's got a great, aggressive, kind of taller grind, but very easy to work with. Just a nice knife. Another surprise from Kizer on their fixed blade series. So we'll do a couple of quick size comparisons to give you an idea of how big this knife is. Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Got some tape on that blade. That drives me crazy. Sorry guys. That is the OCD of me. So we'll look at it next to a bug out, and you'll see that it's going to be much bigger than both a bug out and our PM2. Look at it next to our Guardian Bradford 3, or Guardian 3 by Bradford. Look at it next to our Arbor Knives, or Olive Knives Arbor, which is a bushcrafter. So it's much longer than both, of course, the Guardian 3 and even the Olive Knives Arbor. Look at it next to a couple of larger camp knives that I have, and then we'll measure it out. This is the Three Rivers Manufacturing TRM Redline Fixed Blade. It's going to be about a ½ inch longer than the Redline Fixed Blade. This is the monstrosity that came out from Kizer that I really like. The Drop Bear Fix 7. So the camp knife is smaller than the Drop Bear Fix 7 by about an inch. About a ½ inch larger than the TRM Redline Fixed Blade. So let's get out our tape measure. Let's just see how long it is. It is a 10¼ inch knife for all practical purposes, with a 5½ inch blade. Of that, you have a 5¼ inch cutting area. You have a grip of 4½ inches, so 4½ inches from the front of this blade guard to the very back right here. Your inside grip is right at 4 1/8, so 4 1/8 to right here. You do have a lanyard hole if you want to put a lanyard or more of a support strap there. You do have removable handles that you can pop out of this tang, and separate those. You've got a little tang that runs in there. Very nice knife. I think it's a budget alternative to sub $100 by a lot beater of a camp knife that I think is very, very well done. Designed by, again, Jonathan Stiles. You got this nice gray stonewashed finish and AEB-L steel. The Camp 180 comes with the great Kydex sheath. I think it's a winner. Let's weigh it just so you can see how much it's going to weigh packed in. And when you're handling it, for a 5.5 inch bladed knife, weighs in at 11.2 ounces packed. The knife itself is not light. It is 7.65 ounces, but it is a hard to use fixed blade. So that makes up for that for me. I don't find it a problem. You can easily mount it on your pack if you pack it in, or you can carry it like I do on my belt, and it works very, very well. This is the Kizer Camp 180. Great knife, another departure from some of the normal stuff, quote unquote normal stuff that I'm used to seeing from Kizer, but very refreshing to see fresh designs from great designers and kind of taking different paths or trails down our culture lives. I think it's cool. I'm really stoked. I want to say thank you to Kizer for sending it out for me to review. I want to say thank you to all the channel members who watch and support the channel. Thank you all so much. And I want to say thank you to anyone who comes in and watches my knife and EDC content. I appreciate it. If you subscribe, that's great. If you hit the thumbs up, that's great. If you comment, awesome. Most importantly, please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please keep an eye out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your hearts and choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.